It's Paula Stern, representing the National Center for Women in Information Technology, and actually all underrepresented groups. But the NSF wanted the word women in it when they founded us.
And if you could raise the microphone.
And my question goes back to the data collection and the morass that y'all have to operate in, and so do our researchers. And I was thinking about the Department of Labor and the EOC, with whom we dialogue over many administrations, and just trying to extract information from the category of tech worker. There is a plethora, I don't know what the numbers are, right, that conceivably you could extract and say that's tech, or that's IT, that's computer science, but it can also mean something else. Has that improved at all? Is there a way to have our Department of Labor improve that categorization so as to help us going forward with the data that we need to inform what works and what doesn't?
We have to redo all of our data systems for a digital economy. Most of our measures, most of the information we collect is still designed for an industrial system, which is disappearing. Right. And there's a wealth of information out there that we don't collect, that's proprietary. The companies have it, but other people don't have access to it. And I think this is a big challenge. And the problem is we're having to make policy decisions on what we think will work based on either no or inadequate data.
Yeah, and I fully agree.
No.
No, and the issue is partly that how we think about data is still stuck in silos of agency ownership or funding stream ownership, and rather than data is a public good.
That's right.
If there's information about me, I own that data. The government stewards it. And so when it comes to data sharing and privacy, we can start to really think about data in a more modern way, that it can move across agencies and funding streams within certain privacy, constraints. And I think when it comes to, like you talked about, tech occupations. Right, and in those emerging industries where you have a lot of new occupations coming about, that's where you have the worst harmonization around the content of the job, the skills in the job, and company to company. And I really do think that right now, for example, when I say modernization, like right now what we'll do is we have like over 100 surveys to employers to gather that at a point in time, instead of the sort of regular reporting that is standardized across states. Like states don't even report the same data across each other about basic things like earnings in the same way, using the same definitions, right? So I think that how do we get it from the employer? If we could automate some of that and standardize it, and it would both make it more efficient for the employer to report it, but also we could start to make better decisions about that, because we could start to see where there's, we could start to harmonize. And so maybe this gets back to that cultural question about individual versus collective, but I feel like in some ways our policy, our allergies to like standards and frameworks is kind of biting us, because we're so obsessed about local control that we have this like, we're not looking at apples and apples, and that when it comes to data, that's problematic because you can't compare apples and pears. So we have to kind of think about the balance between standards and harmonization and customization, and like where we are on that pendulum when it comes to data, I think.